Hello and a warm welcome to this very special episode of South Central. My name is Jude Sanuj and we're coming to you from the iconic and very Instagrammable T2 terminal at Kempegowda International Airport in Bengaluru, where we have a very special conversation lined up. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a look at everything making headlines at this hour. BIAL will invest 19,800 crore rupees in 4 years on expanding Bengaluru's Kempegowda International Airport. The company will have passenger capacities of 85 million by 2028, says BIAL CEO in an ET Now exclusive. Japan's Mitsubishi Corporation acquires a minority stake in Bengaluru-based biofuels company KIS Group's Indonesia operations. The company rolls out an expansion roadmap in the Americas and Europe. Brookfield India REIT to buy office property in Bengaluru for over 13,000 crore rupees. It's the largest acquisition by an REIT in India. After Tamil Nadu, Kerala will also explore legal options against the rollout of the Special Intensive Revision Program ahead of assembly polls next year. The decision is taken after an all-party meeting in the state. And Karnataka's Olympics-styled mini-games begin as 5,000 young age group athletes compete across 27 sporting disciplines. Right, first up on the bulletin, Tokyo-based conglomerate Mitsubishi Corporation has acquired a minority stake in biofuel and biogas major KIS Group. ET Now learns that the Japanese corporation has secured a 30% stake in the Bengaluru-based biogas firm, which will now embark on an expansion drive as it uses Mitsubishi's backing to expand operations in North and South America and markets in Europe over the next 5 years. What the partnership does for the KIS Group is grant the company access to Mitsubishi's network across 90 countries and catalyze its international expansion roadmap. For Mitsubishi, the investment marks its maiden entry into the global biogas market. Both entities will now co-develop and jointly commercialize advanced biogas, bio-CNG and bio-LNG product solutions for the global market. In what will go down as the largest acquisition by a real estate investment trust or REIT in India, Brookfield India Real Estate Trust has struck a binding agreement to secure a 100% stake in an office campus in Bengaluru for 13,125 crore rupees. The campus we're talking about is EcoWorld. It's a 7 million square foot plus grade A office campus spanning 48 acres on Bengaluru's Outer Ring Road. Brookfield India REIT plans to fund the acquisition to 3,500 crore rupees in new debt issuance, 1,000 crore in cash proceeds from a Q2 preferential issue, and issues of new equity totaling to 2,500 crore rupees. The office park in question has some A-grade occupants too, including the likes of Honeywell, Morgan Stanley, Standard Chartered, Shell, KPMG, and a few more. Shifting base to Chennai now, reports say US-based semiconductor equipment major KLA Corporation is in talks with the government of Tamil Nadu to establish a 3,000 crore rupee research and development center in Chennai. If it does come about, the R&D facility will end up expanding KLA's footprint in India and create 3,000 high-skilled jobs. The Nasdaq-listed entity already runs a software algorithm and AI development unit in Chennai, aside from an advanced AI computing lab in collaboration with IIT Madras. If the proposal to open the R&D facility does kick in, it would be a glowing testament to the Tamil Nadu government's recent attempts to not just attract investments in manufacturing, but also R&D, GCCs, engineering and AI. Shifting north to Andhra Pradesh now, just ahead of the state's investor summit in Visakhapatnam in a week from now, Andhra Pradesh is riding high on a wave of confidence. The state's Urban Development and Municipal Administration Minister P. Narayana said that the state expects a slew of investments from the United Arab Emirates. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu recently led a state-level delegation to the Middle East on the lookout for investments for his state, where he met with potential investors in the UAE. Now, the state's Urban Development Minister has said that these talks could bear fruit in terms of actual investment proposals coming in from an emirate like Dubai, for instance. Remember, the CII Partnership Summit in Visakhapatnam will kick off on the 14th of April. The Andhra government has said it is eyeing investments in excess of a whopping 9 lakh crore rupees. First it was Tamil Nadu, and now Kerala has begun exploring legal options against the rollout of the Special Intensive Revision Program, or SIR. The exercise, scheduled to be held across 11 states starting this month, including poll-bound ones like Tamil Nadu, Kerala and West Bengal, has been met with stoic opposition from non-BJP governments across multiple states. Tamil Nadu has, on its part, filed an appeal in the Supreme Court. While Kerala is saying it is evaluating its legal options, it says this even as the state has already stated in the past that it is opposed to the rollout of the program itself. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has called the rollout quote-unquote ill-intentioned, as his government took the decision to oppose the SIR rollout following an all-party meet. Not surprisingly, the BJP was the only party at that meeting to oppose the decision to take the legal route in terms of challenging the SIR rollout in the state of Kerala. Back to Bengaluru now. The city is presently hosting the Mini Karnataka Games, a week-long sporting event that's all set to continue till the 9th of November. Now, this year's edition features 5,000 young age group athletes competing across 27 sporting disciplines for top honors. Now, these sports include the likes of archery, swimming, boxing and athletics, to name a few. Now, the annual event, organized by the Department of Youth Empowerment, Karnataka Olympic Association and of course the Sports Authority of Karnataka, is seen as a way of nurturing sporting talent at the grassroots level, even as children competing in these games are all set to embrace bigger roles for themselves in sports across the sporting framework of the country and the state. So Karnataka, they're all set to embrace the mini games, even as young age group kids are all set to go from one sport to the next, collecting top honors as they participate in age group level sports in the state. All right, on to a very special discussion now. For the longest time, the Kempegowda International Airport has stood out as a beacon of what is only the most picturesque airport across the country. Now the Kempegowda Airport is also getting set for its next phase of expansion. We're talking additional 2.78 million square feet, 40 aircraft aprons and a total passenger capacity of 85 million by 2028. The company that operates it, the Bengaluru International Airport Limited, or BIAL, has earmarked an investment of 19,800 crore rupees towards expanding the airport's iconic Terminal 2. But in an exclusive chat with ET Now earlier today, BIAL's MD and CEO Hari Marar, told me that it isn't just aircraft bays and passenger capacities that will see a boost. BIAL is partnering with two of the biggest names in Indian aviation to develop South Asia's largest ecosystem of maintenance and repair operations around the airport itself. The airport boss also delved deep into the case for a second airport in Bengaluru and the proposed one in Hosur. Here's a slice of that conversation.
Airports are gateways. They really connect the city to the world and the world to the city. Therefore, when you design an airport, you really don't have to look for too much of inspiration. Just look at the city and what it stands for, and that's what the airport should stand for. That's the way we looked at it. And when you look at Bangalore city's identity, there are two or three things really stand out. One is the fact that, first of all, I see Bangalore always as an incredible dichotomy, where it represents or stands for progress of India unlike any other city, right? It stands for progress, it stands for technology, it stands for being the Silicon Valley of the country, and yet at the same time, it is rooted in tradition. It's very proud of its heritage, the city of Bangalore, and of course the moniker of being the Garden City of India.
Yes.
These are the three elements that came together to create this design. So a terminal in a garden, that's the way we wanted to design it. Not as having gardens in the terminal, but being a terminal in the garden with technology that's woven into everything. It's invisible at the back. There's a great amount of technology in here and really advanced technology. And third, really about art, craft. You'll see at various places the best of Karnataka heritage represented here, including the language, music, and all of that.
And a whole lot of sustainability as well as your fourth pillar.
That's our fourth pillar, yes.
And that's been, a wonderful coming together of all these little elements that you wanted to make, put on full display right here at the airport. And might I say, it's come out so well. But moving ahead, Hari, what a time to be doing this interview. Even as we speak, BIAL has firmed up plans for the expansion phase of T2, set to kick in by 2028. Work will, of course, start next year itself. For the sake of our viewers, what's on the anvil? What are you doing by way of the expansion plan? I believe 2.78 lakh square feet more space will be added, 40 more aircraft aprons. Take me through some of these metrics.
So, I think the point that you made about the point in time where we are standing and talking is very critical. I think India is going to see one of the most exciting phases of aviation growth in the next few years. With 1,200 planes on order, you can be sure that India's aviation growth story is really just truly begun now. And what next 10 years is not just India's decade, but is also the decade of Indian aviation. It's going to be the golden age of Indian aviation. Our aim here at Bangalore Airport is to create the capacity that's required for our airline partners and everybody else to sort of further their business. Creating capacity has to be a well-rounded sort of approach. So our airside capacity, it's a 2-runway system, and that's the maximum that we can do in this 4,000-acre campus. So we've built out these 2 runways. Now we've got to match the other elements. So in the next 4 years, we're spending about 19,800 crores. And the money is being spent on multiple projects and not just the expansion of Terminal 2. Terminal 2 expansion is one of the bigger elements of the overall program, but there are many elements that are part of it. So like you rightly said, what you see today in Terminal 2, this is just half of the terminal. The second half is going to be built out on that side. And when you said we're going to start work next year, if you actually go out there, you'll see mobilization for the excavation starting right now. So it's starting now. So that is started. We will add capacity, 40 aircraft parking stands, 278,000 square meters of space, 2.78 million square feet of space, by the way. All of that is going to be added to create the capacity from a terminal standpoint. And this terminal, which is currently rated roughly of having about 25 million passengers capacity, will move to anywhere between 45 and 50 million passengers. And with the capacity of Terminal 1 being at about 35 million, we'll have a total capacity built up for about 80 million passengers between these 2 terminals. Apart from that, we have a crossfield taxiway coming up on the western side, which will enable full circularity on the airside. So today when you land at Bangalore Airport, sometimes you have a long taxiing time. All that will be eliminated, providing much more efficient operations on the airside and plus reduce carbon footprint because aircraft will have to taxi next. We are bringing in connectivity from the eastern side of the airport into the terminal. So people from Sarjapur, Whitefield, all of them will not have to drive all the way to Hebal flyover and come in. There's going to be a connectivity tunnel that brings people in. The metro is coming in. We built the 2 metro stations. Those 2 metro stations are coming up. Terminal 1 is being refurbished. So it's a multitude of many of these projects coming together to create this whole expansion program.
And this even as you expect a fair bit of expansion by way of passenger capacity as well. I think it's around 42 to 43 million, I'm guessing, right about now. But you could well see 85 million capacity by 2028. Is that the plan?
So from a capacity standpoint, we'll be ready with to cater to about 80-85 million by the time this, like I said, 50 million here and about 35 million there. So roughly about 85 million. As far as growth is concerned, well, I think we will be at the end of 5 years from now at about 72 million.
Right.
That's the number that we see. So this year we are expecting to touch about between 45.5 and 46 million. We closed last year at 42 million of 41.88. So roughly in that ballpark is when we'll end here. And we anticipate that the next 2 years we'll see about 12 to 13% growth every year, which is not very aggressive.
Bengaluru has been talking about opening that much-awaited second airport in the city to actually go about servicing South Bengaluru to a large extent. Do these mean opportunities for you? And I ask this question primarily because when the Hosur airport was being discussed, there was a whole lot of discourse over whether or not this would impact business at Kempegowda. There was, of course, that statutory clause which said that around a 150 kilometer radius, there shouldn't be another airport in the offing. There was talk that, this could actually mean potential conflict of interest for, Kempegowda itself. How do you view airports coming up in such close proximity? I would assume you're also part of these discussions and vying for a slice of this business as well. But what do you make of the influx of these airports in the close neighborhood itself?
So let me break this into 2 parts. One is about what is our interest in this whole thing, and secondly, why a second airport is being spoken about. The second airport is not really being spoken about specifically to cater to South Bangalore or any of that. See, as the airport has got developed in North, the connectivity between Bangalore and North has developed quite dramatically, and I think while there is still a long travel distance, but I think the city has got accustomed to it, and that is not really the driving factor behind a second airport. To be honest with you, I told you about the kind of growth that's coming up in India and in Bangalore specifically because we have created this capacity. Now, the total structural capacity of our airport is anywhere between 100 and 105 million, right? And this we expect to reach anywhere between 2034 and 36. But that's the ultimate capacity of this airport. But as you will realize it yourself, as we start approaching that, at least 4 or 5 years before that, the peak hours would have already got saturated, right? And capacity will actually become tremendously in short supply at that point of time. The biggest fear that we have is we start choking the connectivity needs of Bangalore, which have a huge compounding effect on the economy of the city and the state. So actually it's us who took the proposal to the government as well, saying that you need to start thinking about a second airport. Because this airport, by 2032 or so, will start creaking at the edges. And if you really do not want your economic interests to be affected, it's very important for you to develop a second airport. Right. And the government has been very proactive, identifying lands, working with Airport Authority of India to get the feasibility study done and so on and so forth. That's going on one side. So we strongly support the requirement of additional capacity creation outside our airport as a general point. Now coming to protecting our own interests, see, you're right. Till 2033, there is a commitment that there should be no new airport that comes up, which can affect our exclusivity. So with Hosur Airport, with the government of Tamil Nadu, we have had lots of discussions. And we said, listen, Hosur Airport can be operationalized as long as we are operating it. Similarly with Bangalore, we're going to follow what the government does. And what we're expecting is a fair, transparent process to make sure that the second airport is set up. Is it an opportunity for us? 100%, because we will bid for that airport.
Right. As will you for Hosur too, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. 100%. So for Hosur, there will not even be a bid. If Hosur has to open before 2033, then it has to be only, that will be made possible only if we are operating it.
Right.
And we have made that clear.
Absolutely.
Now, if the government of Tamil Nadu decides that we will wait till 2033 and open it, then it will be a bid process and we'll participate in that as well.
Absolutely.
Having said that, I don't think both of them can exist. They're too much in close proximity to each other for both of them to reasonably coexist. I think airport near Hosur, probably further into Tamil Nadu, might be a great idea because that area is developing from an industrial standpoint quite well. But what cannot be avoided is a second airport in Bangalore.
But I have to ask you, you spoke to me about the aircraft order book that Indian aviation is all set to embrace even as the market continues to grow. For the Bengaluru airport itself, on route expansions, attracting new airlines and becoming a global aviation hub right out of South India, is there a playbook that you probably refer to and say, this is where we want to be by this time? And what's that like?
Oh, that's a great question. So I spoke to you very briefly about the domestic connectivity. You know, breadth of domestic connectivity is very critical for any hub. I think today, we're the airport that's connected best to more cities in India than any other airport except Delhi. 78 cities, which is a very, very wide network. We're very excited about that. But it's on the back of that we now want to become a hub. India has squandered the opportunity to become a hub over years. But today, I think we have two very strong airlines. Air India under the Tata leadership and IndiGo, which is like a powerhouse. These two airlines are really ones that can make that shift to India becoming a hub. What we can, as an airport can do, I mean, we can have hub aspirations, but we can't do anything without a good, strong airline partner. And we have now, over the last few years, worked towards creating these strong partnerships with Air India and IndiGo. On Air India's front, we've actually signed a deal with Air India to establish this as their hub in South India. They're setting up a 40-acre MRO, which is, and IndiGo is setting up a 35-acre MRO. Between these two airlines, we'll have capability of servicing 29 aircrafts simultaneously, which to my mind is certainly makes us the MRO capital of India, but also possibly Asia. I can't think of many airports in Asia that have 29 aircrafts servicing capability from an MRO standpoint. This means that these two airlines have established their presence in Bangalore in a strong way. Now we're working with them to create those route networks, right? That will be the next big step. IndiGo has gone over the last 24 months from having 4 departures a day to 16 departures a day for international flights. So they have 16 international departures right now. Air India has today 4, it came from 0 a year ago. They've got 4 international departures. Air India Express has 4 international departures. Akasa has got 3 international departures. But I think these Indian airlines are the one that's going to make this change. And as a result, and IndiGo, interestingly, is not just doing transfer within themselves. That means their domestic network connecting to their international flights. They also have fantastic interline agreements with Qantas, with British Airways, with Qatar Airways. And they come and feed these as well. So sometimes you can see that about 60% of the plane that's taking passengers, the Qantas plane that's taking passengers from here to Sydney, has been filled by incoming passengers from IndiGo. That is a sign of a network under development. That's a sign of a hub under development.
Absolutely.
And I see this happening very, very strongly in the next 4 or 5 years. I expect our transfer traffic volumes to go anywhere between 20 and 25%. It's gone up from 5% 4 years ago to already 17%. We see that touching 25%, and that's really the making of a hub.
No doubt. And these MRO ambitions, of course, also furthered by the Airport City project, which is seeing a whole ecosystem developing around the airport itself, which has held you in good stead. But, before we end, I have to ask you, you've spent 2 decades at BIAL. When folks move around in search for better opportunities, you've pretty much stayed home, in a sense. Risen up the ranks to become MD and CEO today. What are some of the key learnings that you've taken home with you by way of this 19-year-long tenure, I think, at Bengaluru International Airport Limited?
I think some very important learnings here. First and foremost, I mean, it's been 19 years in this airport. And one thing I realized is that, which I think is the most important learning from our perspective, is that airports can never be owned by a private company. Right? This one, from a financial standpoint, is owned by Fairfax, 74%. But airports always belong to the people, right? When you think of yourself as owners of the airport, you could end up running it with a sense of entitlement of an owner. But when you look at yourself as running an airport on behalf of the people of Karnataka and Bangalore, then you look at it as a custodianship and the responsibility that comes with custodianship. And that is something that we constantly remind ourselves. that we have to look at it from that perspective. That's number one. Number two, this is not just about connecting people to planes. We're actually in the business of nation building. And this is the largest sense of purpose that I make it a point to repeat again and again to my entire people, not just my team, but the whole ecosystem at the airport. 50,000 employees that work here. Whenever I get a chance, I speak. I said, our job is to build world-class infrastructure. We have to make India proud. This is the job of nation building. We're also in the business of creating India's soft power, our hospitality. Create a wonderful impression with every international visitor, right? And that is the power India has, India's hospitality. So bring that together and work genuinely towards nation building. And at the end of it, we'd like to be known beyond our aviation prowess. What we'd like to be known for is a company that dared to dream beyond his possibilities that were visible and tried to raise the bar and create something very special. And all of the work that we do with sustainability, community engagement, creating a world-class environment, all of that is with the hope and inspiration that we can become a benchmark for India itself.
Well, airports can never be owned by an entity because it always belongs to the people. On that note, it's a wrap from all of us here at South Central. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with more news and updates from the 5 southern states. Until then, take care. It's good.